everyone, Synthetic Future here. Today I want to look at a very weird, maybe a little niche plugin that can be incredibly useful. So the sound you were just hearing is Lion by Unfiltered Audio, but there's something interesting going on here, and as you might have noticed, I actually have quite a setup going on today, with multiple channels all reacting to when I play. And your question will probably be, why? Why do you want this? So maybe you've been playing around with sounds, you're like, oh, it would be nice to have just a little bit of extra distortion in the low end, or maybe I want just a little bit of reverb on the high end. And that's also always a tricky thing to do, because for that you need some sort of way to split the sound into different frequency ranges, so you can specify effects per frequency range. Now there is the one very obvious way to do this, and that's just to buy Triad. There we go, Triad. Then you instantly have 3 bands of biome to play around with, so you can specify your low frequencies, high frequencies, do cuts and boosts, and add effects per frequency band. But obviously Triad isn't very inexpensive. And there's also the thing that you might have a favorite distortion or a favorite reverb that you really want to use in this way. So this is where I'll start talking about the plugin we're talking about today, and that's 3xOver by Hornet Plugins. So here's the store page for it. It is being promoted as a DJ equalizer and a 3-band crossover. Now the DJ equalizer part I'm not at all interested in for this video. It's all about that 3-band crossover. It's also very inexpensive, as you might notice, which is absolutely awesome. And it works with quite a few DAWs. So what do we have going on here exactly? Right now we have obviously Lion, which is being split into 3 frequency bands. So for now I'm going to shove Lion aside. I'll get in a nice spectrum, and here we see the entire spectrum of our sound. Alright, nothing new there. But now we get these little buttons, and if we disable these two, there are 3 distinct bands you can enable and disable them in any configuration you want to. And even more interesting is you can change where the bands start and stop. You even have 24 or 48 to make it steeper. Now this is a bad example because there's a lot of distortion on this channel right now, so let's go for the mid channel. High channel actually. So that gives you a little bit of extra control to make the cuts steeper or less steep. So to set this up is a little bit of a thing, because there's a lot going on obviously. First off, I'm only going to be able to explain this in Reaper, but I'm going to assume that pretty much any DAW works fairly similarly. So you might have to consult the instructions for your specific DAW. That being said, this is the way Reaper does it. So first off, you want obviously a MIDI track, MIDI input, containing your instrument of choice. In this case, that would be Lion. And after Lion, you want to put your Hornet. Now it's important if you're using a Reaper to not use the VST free version, because the VST free version in Reaper doesn't give you multiple outputs. So you need to use the normal VST version. And you need to click this little routing thing to add extra channels with the little plus icon. until you have this really nice line with all your outputs being assigned to a different output number. Next step, you'll need to make as many channels as you want to split in. In this case it's 3 splits, so we need 3 extra channels. And we need to route the sound from our main channel to the other channels. So I'll just give a demonstration with one of these. I need to double check if this is going to be okay. Yeah, there we go, that's the one. So right, so what we need to do is we need to track our routing from our synthesizer track to the first track where we want the split sound to be. And now we need to select which outputs are going to be sent to this track. So in this case, 1 and 2 is the full sound, 3 and 4 is our low end, 5 and 6 is our mid, and 7 and 8 is our high. So this needs to be the stereo out from channels 3 and 4 going into this channel. And you have to repeat this for your second split. This will be channel 5 and 6. And this is 7 and 8. Now what I did here in this specific case is I turned off all the master sends of all the other channels. So all these 4 top channels don't have any master send. And they all send to this bottom channel, which receives from track 2, 3 and 4. And sends the entire signal to master. So this way you actually get one slider to control the volume of the entire thing, which can be demonstrated here. Let me just actually turn on all the bands. There we go. That's just more convenient to do it this way. Also, it allows you to control the volume of the separate tracks here, or you can of course turn them off. And I don't know where there's a zip thing going on. Here we go. So now you have your sound going from your synthesizer into Hornet, Hornet splitting it into 3 bands. And those 3 bands are being recombined into this final band. And now we can do all sorts of fun stuff with it. First off, of course, with the controls of Hornet itself, you can change the gain. You can also use your mixer with this setup. You can change the frequency cutoffs for the low and high end, your slope. You can set it to dry and wet, but in this configuration I would definitely leave it at 100% wet. And you can bypass the effect as well. And more importantly, you can now add any effect to any channel. So for instance, in our low sound, we now have a dent going. Which is pretty aggressive sounding. And in our high channel, let's go there, it's this one, let me bring it up, we have a zip going. And if we turn these effects off, we'll get the normal sound. So let's just turn them off. So this can do all sorts of crazy things. You can actually still put a try it on any of these channels to split it up even further, or you can like add a 3xOver to one of the output channels, make it into 6 channels if you want to. Main thing being is this way you can very easily, pretty easily, with a very affordable way of setting up this sort of multi-frequency thing. And you can also do parallel compressing with this. You can do really literally anything you want with any of your existing plugins. The only thing you need is this little Hornet thing, a little bit of time to route everything, and you're off to the races. So that's where I'll leave it for now. If there are any questions about this plugin or anything that's unclear, I can do a full deconstruction if anyone is interested in it and show exactly how you set it up. I think it shouldn't be too hard to get this done. Check out Hornet. They're pretty cool guys with some pretty interesting things going on their website, some pretty interesting effects and plugins. That's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a nice day.